questions in the chat area, and she'll field it to me.
Yep,
Oh.
I'm monitoring those too, and I'm writing down some notes for really important things.
Okay, so in case you're able to see me while I'm presenting, I'm looking this way because I have two screens. If you are new to St. Jean's, you came in a great time because we have a wonderful new start time, 8 a.m. Last year it was 7:30. Brutal. We also have 8 periods here, and that's because of our block schedule. So students see all of their teachers and attend all of their classes on Mondays, and then we jump into the block schedule for the next 4 days. I wanted to review our graduation requirements. So there's a slight discrepancy between total credits needed for 9th and 10th, and I'll get into that in a second. But so 10th graders need 270 credits to graduate, and 9th graders need 275. I also wanted to, you guys might not have known about this, but for the upper class, we had a different credit system and we recently changed it. So all you really need to know is 1 semester course is worth 5 credits. And if it's a year-long course, then that's 10 credits. So the next thing that is so imperative to know is that our curriculum is completely in line with A through G. Now, A through G, if you don't know what that is the standards that are put out there from the UC schools and the CSUs saying you have to meet these standards in order to be eligible to go into college, okay? And you have to complete all of those courses with a C or better. So not only are we completely in line with A through G, but we're actually a tad bit more rigorous as well. So as you can see for history, we require 3 years and A through G only requires 2. We are the same for English, it's 4 years. We're the same in math, 3 years. For science, we require 3, A through G requires 2. Foreign language, that's the same at 2. And also keep in mind that for foreign language, it is 2 years and it has to be of the same language. So you can't do 1 year of ASL and then switch things up and do the next year Spanish. That won't fulfill that area. VPA stands for Visual and Performing Arts. So that's like the art classes or video media arts, and that's 1 year, and that's the same as A through G. For our college prep elective, we require 3 years and A through G only requires 1. Then we have our St. Jean requirements. So students take 4 years of religious studies. They are required to do 2 years of PE, 1 semester of health, and then this part right here is where we go back to that discrepancy between 270 and 275. So our wonderful freshmen are the first class that are going to be experiencing the seminar courses every single year. That's brand new this year. So the sophomores didn't have to do that last year. That's why they have that 5 credit difference. And so that's every single year, and it's only 1 semester long. Okay, so let's talk about what your 9th graders and 10th graders should be doing right now. So when you hear about rigor, that is talking about the courses that your child has chosen to take. So that also goes into, it's just what courses were available to your child based off of your school. So that's why it's so important to know which courses St. Jean's offers, because down the line, when admissions are looking at them, they're going to look at what was available, and then they're going to see what they took advantage of. So we have lots of honors courses and we have AP courses. And so it's best that they take advantage of those when they see fit. GPA, we are weighted and unweighted. If you don't know what that means, that is because if you have a standard course, for example, Algebra 1, that is just going to be on a 4-point scale. But if you do an honors course, that's on a 4.5 scale. And if you do an AP course or dual enrollment, that's on a 5-point scale. So if you've ever heard of a student who got over a 4.0, that means that they're talking about their weighted GPA, and that student definitely took rigorous courses. Not so much for the freshmen quite yet, because you don't have a transcript yet. You will have it once you finish your first round of courses this semester. Then you'll finally see your courses on your transcript. But definitely sophomores, you'll have 1 full year already on there. I want you to just get familiar with your transcript. It's a very important document. It's the document that will be getting sent to colleges when you apply. The next thing that is really important right now is your extracurricular activities. So what do you do outside of St. Jean's academically? And not necessarily, it could be with St. Jean's, obviously, if we, have, ASB or FFA, which I'll talk about in a second. But it's not so much about just diving into every single thing so that you can just have this, sprinkled student resume of all these different extracurriculars. It's not about that. There's all these different opportunities. Find which one suits you best, that you feel passionate about. You're going to be so much more better in that group or that club, and you're going to actually be able to make a big difference, a big impact in that group if you're actually passionate about it. This also goes for sports and volunteering opportunities. There's something for everybody. So once you do that involvement, you're going to start creating your student resume. And so I would love this to be in a Google Doc format. And you guys are lucky because you're at the beginning right now where everything is still fresh. This is all fresh information, and your chapter is just getting started. You can make that Google Doc and you put 9th grade, and then you list all those things that we just talked about, whether it's the sport that you're in or the club that you're in or the job shadowing you did or an internship, anything like that, okay? The reason why this is so important is because eventually when it comes time to do your essays and your college applications, you're going to need this information. And I've seen it time and time again where seniors can't remember. It's like, whoa, 4 years ago, what did I do when I was a freshman? Or, what if there was this award that you got? I don't want you to miss that. So start making that now and start tracking all of your involvement. So tests, super hot topic right now because of COVID and because so many schools are now going test optional and whatnot, but things are still way too uncertain right now. So especially for you guys, just know that, we're planning on doing the SAT day, October 14th, correct?
Let me look really quick. I have my calendar right here for those special days. And it is October 14th, yes.
Okay.
A practice test for the freshmen. It's an online practice, so it really doesn't count, but it gives you a really good indicator of what you should be studying for and how you should study. The PSAT for the sophomores, yep. So we have it.
Okay, so we are planning on that. You can also go ahead and take a practice ACT. That way you can compare the two and see which one you perform better on. And then if you're taking any AP courses, like we have some freshmen that are taking AP Human Geography right now, we do require students to take the corresponding AP test in May. And so if you score well enough, you could receive college credit depending on the school that you attend. And I know that's a little bit vague, but it's that different colleges require different scores in order to give you that credit. So some of them might require a 3, some of them are 4s, and others are 5s. 5 is the highest. It's not too late to do college research, right? First of all of our students have access to Naviance, and they all have an account. And I very strongly encourage them to utilize this program because they can go on there and they can start searching different schools. They can actually even do the resume on there as well. There's assessments that they can take on there. They create a post-high school game plan, lots of tools that are super great. And then also encourage them to talk to family members, you know, about their experiences with college. Where did they go? Again, I find it so interesting, but tons of times kids have no idea even where their parents went and what their parents' experience is like. And yet, you know that you're over here going, oh yes, I want you to go to college, but you just haven't had that talk. So talk about it, encourage that communication. Maybe if you know your sister, your brother or uncle or whoever, had a really great experience, encourage them to call them up and just say, it's that time for me and I need to start thinking about this and I just want to hear about your experience. There's just so many different ways that you can begin learning about college, like not just only the college's websites, of course, but there's even virtual college tours everywhere right now. You can just Google virtual college tour and any college that you can think of or you're currently thinking of, there's going to probably be a virtual college tour on it. And then lastly, and this is super important and too many kids skip over this, okay? They really need to build positive relationships with their teachers and myself. The reason for this, not only because it's just really great to have a good relationship with your teacher, right? But down the line, when they are juniors in their spring semester, they're going to need to start thinking about who they are going to ask to write their letters of recommendation. And if they have not built those relationships, it's going to make it a little bit awkward and a little bit hard, for both sides. Sometimes I've heard of students that just go and pick willy-nilly any teacher, and it's just so strange because that teacher's like, I've never even spoken to you. And so that's why that's really, really important. You need to teach your students to get into the habit of advocating for themselves and going out and having these adult, conversations and building these positive relationships. It's super important. I wanted to just quickly discuss FFA, mostly because you guys are newer, to our program. And so FFA is dedicated to making a positive difference in the lives of students by developing their potential for premier leadership, personal growth, and career success through agricultural education. There's 95,000 student members in the California Association from over 330 high schools, and we're one of them. So that's pretty cool. Our ag science courses that we offer are ag biology, chemistry, and food science. Sometimes we call that farm to table, and I keep hearing rave reviews about that class. And all of our students who are enrolled in ag science courses are members of FFA, and they're encouraged to take advantage of the opportunities available to them. So the students who've gotten really serious with FFA, they participate in meetings, they do public speaking competitions, they go to conferences, and they're in contests, and they create entrepreneurship-based businesses. It's pretty amazing. That's definitely an opportunity that I would suggest that they look into.
If I can just add a tiny bit on that slide before you go to the next one. Our FFA, we began with it for our kids because students really asked for it, and we saw what a great leadership opportunity it was for our kids. Even if they don't intend to be farmers or cattle ranchers, that didn't matter because their leadership skills and their speaking skills were growing significantly through this program. We were the 4th Catholic high school in the United States to adopt the FFA program and become a charter. And we are so proud of our kids because right now we have kids that are juniors who have risen to the regional and sectional office level. So we're really, really proud of them in all that they're doing, and we encourage your kids to be a part of it. That's why we really are tracking our kids in. We have the ag bio and the ag chemistry. Even if your kids don't want to be super involved in FFA, We want to give them that exposure to it so that if they do all of a sudden say, gosh, I see some opportunities here, if nothing else for networking purposes and entrepreneurship and getting into a different college that maybe I might not have thought about before, that's why we're doing it, to expand those opportunities. Thanks, Ms. Perez.
Yeah, of course. Okay, so I know we have some athletes amongst our 9th and 10th graders, and I wanted to go over just a brief overview of NCAA information for those of them who are gonna need this information. So college-bound student athletes need to complete 16 core courses. Okay, so underneath I put at the bottom what St. Jean's covers. Okay, so again, we're in line, so you really don't have to worry. So English, 4 years, we make them do 4 years. Math, 3 years, we have them do 3 years as well. Science, 2 years, we have them do 3, so we can, you know, carry the one over to additional and we cover that one, right? And then social science, 2 years, again, we're 3. And then that would also cover the 4 years of additional courses on the right-hand side. So you're covered, basically. You don't have to, you know, really stress too much. You just have to make sure that your student is definitely taking their core classes and passing them successfully. So for NCAA, there's 3 divisions. And so Division 1 is the largest of them all. Those are the ones that have really big budgets and they compete at the highest levels. And those are the ones that are definitely like televised and, you know, lots of rah-rah. Division 2, they arrange for closer regional games and they really stress the student athletic life balance. They don't want it to be, you know, going over one side more than the other. And then Division 3, they've got much shorter practices and playing seasons. There are no athletic scholarships for Division 3, and athletics definitely play a second role in comparison to a student's academic life. So as you can see, out of the colleges and universities, Division 3 is actually the biggest with 443. And then also with the student athletes at 190,000. And then there's the, yes, they offer athletic scholarships for Division 1. There's partial ones for Division 2 and none for Division 3. So beginning of 10th grade, if you think that your student is going to be trying to go on and play in college, the first thing that they need to do is go to the NCAA Eligibility Center website and create an account. From there, you have 90 days to submit that application and to make the application payment. Again, just tracking those 16 core classes, researching other athletic associations such as NAIA and NJCAA. The NAIA, that's mostly like private schools. I think like 81% are private schools and maybe about 65% of those are faith-based schools. And then the NJCAA, that is for junior colleges. So that's sometimes if, you know, an athlete, you know, isn't on like at their peak yet performance-wise, or, you know, their body, they need to do some more, or maybe they just weren't ready for a 4-year yet, they can certainly go on and play in junior college and then transfer to the 4-year. But so not only do you have to research colleges and universities to determine best fit academically, but you'll also need to determine the best fit athletically as well. And then just, you know, drop in some hard truth. There are 8 million high school athletes and less than 500,000 make it into college athletics. Only 2%, that's nice, of high school athletes go on to compete professionally. So, you know, that's another reason why I wanted to mention the other athletic associations. That can start to get a little bit tough. I would definitely encourage you to talk to our athletic director if you want some more guidance on that. Okay, I'm not going to go too far into this. If you want to hear more, you can go and watch the other presentations. I did dive in a bit deeper because they're it's right there for them. But I will say for this page, these are the things that I'm going to mention to you guys. First, you need to find out what your expected family contribution is, okay? If you've never heard that term, that's okay. You're hearing about it early, and that's fantastic, okay? So this is what it is. When it is your time to do the FAFSA, okay, they are going to look at your paperwork and they are going to say, okay, based off of your financials, this is how much money we say you need to contribute towards your child's education. And I say this every time, you're not going to like it. It's going to be much higher than you think it should be. But this is all more reason why you need to find out what your EFC is now. There's tons of EFC calculators all over the web. I think Student Aid has one. Who also has one? Big Future, which is College Board. You can Google, Big Future EFC, that will pop up for you. It's super quick. You really don't put it off thinking, oh my gosh, this is going to take a long time to figure this out. It's not. It's very, very, very quick, and you'll quickly find out what your EFC is most likely going to be. And then that's going to help you really have that picture that you need in order to understand what you guys are going to do financially. And then the other thing that I really wanted to mention with you guys, in case you haven't heard, is FAFSA now works off of something called prior year. So meaning when you are doing the FAFSA, when your student is a senior, you're not going to be using that year's tax information. You're actually going to be using tax information from 2 years previous. This just makes the whole process so much quicker, so much easier, because that information is 2 years old. It's already been in there. It's in the system. So it makes it go by so much quicker than how things used to be. And then lastly, what I'll talk about is, so after you find out what they're saying your EFC is, this is what you as the parents can financially contribute or should be able to financially contribute towards your child. Then now here's what we can offer them in financial aid. If there's a gap after that, we're still not covering the total cost of college. That's when you have to start thinking about scholarships and loans. So I will mention that we are using a website called Going Merry, and your students can start looking at scholarships now. So what they do when they go onto the website, and actually students, I will post the invite link on our Google Classroom. You're going to go on there, you're going to make your account, and it's going to ask you a bunch of questions. And those questions are so that it can filter through and figure out which scholarships are applicable to you. So go ahead and start looking at those now. Why not? Okay, moving on. Okay, so I look at this every single year, okay? This gives me so much information, and I was really shocked this year because normally I'm talking about the top 3 factors that admissions care about the most out of all the parts of the application. And usually it's always the test scores. That's always one of them. And it's always your grades, and then the strength of the curriculum, the rigor that I was talking about earlier. And this year, grades in all courses popped up as being super high up there. And so that's especially important for you guys, because I have a lot of freshmen that sometimes they've heard that maybe like the CSUs or the UCs don't use the 9th grade courses to calculate the GPA, but that might be changing. We have no idea. With all of this changing going on with the testing, they're going to have to rely heavier in other areas. So I really want to emphasize how absolutely important it is to do even as a 9th grader. Those grades matter tremendously, and they're going to factor in. About halfway down, a little bit less than halfway, you see it says counselor recommendation and teacher recommendation. that goes back to the point that when we were talking about building those healthy relationships. So maybe with the tests not being weighed so heavily anymore, those things can start popping up and going up the ladder. So again, very important to build those relationships. And then I wanted to tell you about this if you didn't already know. So the University of San Diego has their Torero Promise, and it is guaranteed admission for our St. Jean students. As long as they have a weighted recalculated GPA of a 3.7 by the end of their junior year, they've taken and successfully completed at least 3 academic classes at the honors and AP level, have no disciplinary record, and in their senior year, submit their common application by December 15th. That's not this December 15th. That's not next December 15th. It's when you're a senior. Yeah. So don't freak out about that. But that is an amazing opportunity for our kids. I don't know if you've ever been to that campus, but it is absolutely stunning. It is completely beautiful. And then one quick fun fact about that school is if you graduate from there, you can get married in their chapel.
Wow,
Okay.
I didn't know that. That is great.
Yeah, I've seen it. It's beautiful. And I'm like, oh, that is really special. I liked that. Okay.
We had no questions in the chat box. We had none, but I'm sure there's some out there. But before you get your questions, let me give you my highlights of the talk tonight. I do this every time with every one of the counseling sessions, the counseling nights we've had. And it just kind of re-cements some things for you. And then you can maybe type your question in, or we can ask those questions in a minute. So that was a great job, Ms. Perez, thank you. We have a block schedule at St. Jean that has 8 blocks, and that gives you the advantage of your student learning about some things and giftedness that they might not know they have. And typically the high schools give 6. So we're extending that rigor in their course plan a little bit and helping them out. So we're really, really happy about that. That it's an important thing to become familiar with your transcripts, especially sophomores, because freshmen, yours won't come until the end of the year. So, but at the end of the year, you can talk to Ms. Perez about it. Extracurricular involvement is important, but we want you to be a little bit discerning in that. Do the things you love, where you're going to have the most impact, and how you're going to lead, right? What's your best opportunities for leadership in those different things? But definitely do what you love, because then you can write about it in your college essays, and your teachers will be able to speak to it because you'll be so memorable. Student resumes are important. Start them now. Start keeping track now so you don't forget. APs are great. If you didn't take an AP this year, we have lots of opportunities for you to take them. So don't feel the pressure, but it's good to be able to say that you took the rigor. The score is a wonderful thing. As long as you do well in the course, you get the GPA boost. And that's the best thing, because you get the automatic GPA bump to help you out. But the score is icing on the cake, but not everybody takes the same scores. So I know when Elise was over at Chapman, we were looking at different AP qualifiers, and they said, unless you got a 5 on some of the tests, you didn't get credit for it. You had to still take the credit in college. Start your college research now. Start talking to your family members and your parents. It's something we kind of skipped over, but it's important, parents, that you start being realistic with your kids. You don't want them to think that you can afford 6+ figures for college. I'm just saying, unless you can. If you can, you're all in. But you want to be real with them. We were totally sticker shocked when Paul and I were putting our kids through college. And what Ms. Perez was saying about that EFC is absolutely true. You will fall on the floor. My advice is, parents, please pour yourself a tall drink before and have a drink during, and you'll be all right. I mean, it is, and just know you're going to go, how did they ever think that I was going to come up with that? It's not realistic, but it's the game we play. To build positive relationships with your teachers and counselors. And at St. Jean, this is super easy. because we're a small school and our teachers are really, really readily available to you. They are running office hours every day. If you're not taking advantage of it, that's okay. Then they have some free time, but they're there for you from 1:30 every day until 3 o'clock. So please, even on virtual learning. At school, oh my gosh, we get to see you all the time. And so we're always stopping you and asking you about this, or reminding you about that, but or congratulating you about the amazing things you do and pushing you when you need that little kick. So, but even online, please make those connections with us. You gave great information tonight on NCAA. That is amazing, Ms. Perez. That was a growth point, because usually, I know, look at you, because usually Coach does it, and Coach's mom, praise God, is on the mend tonight. She is actually awake. She gave us quite a scare last week. She had a severe heart attack on Friday, and Coach flew out to Florida, and he's been with her ever since. She has spent most of that time in an induced coma, and today she had her surgery yesterday, and it went positively well. It's so great. And today we actually got to see her awake and talking. So this is awesome. This is awesome. So praise God. We're so happy. So continue to pray for Coach and his family. Please look into that Going Mary. It's a wonderful tool for you to dig into those scholarships and maybe seek out some opportunities that you didn't know you had. So please look over that. And everybody remember, parents, but you got to start letting go a little bit, because I promise you, we talk to you all the time at St. Jean, but when they get to college, you're going to get stonewalled, and your kids have to learn to be their best advocates. And that's why I say it all the time. Send your kids to talk to the teachers, send your kids to talk to me, and then you can kind of call me on the sly. Call me on the side, and I'll give you the lowdown on it. But we want to build that communication skill with your kids. And the overall grade, students, starting right this minute, and actually last year too, your overall grades are super important. So that's why it's so important to communicate with those teachers. If you're having even a little bit of struggle, just communicate with your teachers. Every one of them is there for you. A Zaleski side note, that was the thing tonight, but a Zaleski side note, we are initiating a new student information system, which is fax. We are all getting used to it. This is new for all of us. And teachers, as well as parents, as well as students, have a total learning curve on this. Lots of things in my life is user error. 90% user error on my computer things. So, but don't feel like you can't ask. Please call Mrs. Alves, because she's the best person to walk you through that. And she's so patient too. Ms. Perez knows a ton about it too, but I would go to Mrs. Alves, and if she can't help you, Mrs. Perez can. If you're looking for help from me, you are super desperate. You are like way desperate. So really just bear with us on that. We're still getting up and running on that. Okay, now still, there's no questions in the chat box. Okay. But does anybody have any questions? I know, and you know what? You have time, parents. You're not in the crunch, so you have time. You can let this sink in.
You can call me, you can email me. If you think of something later. I know everyone's tired.
Oh. Hey, happy day off tomorrow, everybody. Happy day off. We have a Company of Mary Day tomorrow. We're looking forward to it. And then we have classes, the gold classes, which are the even classes, on Friday. If you are in my farm to table class, we are cooking. We are doing eggs. I collected some eggs from our chickens this morning, and I have some of the house too. We're going to be cooking. So I'm excited. Can we get a copy of this PowerPoint?
Yes, of course. It is being recorded, and our wonderful Mr. James Bauman is going to be posting this onto our website, our Student Life website. So you can go and see the other ones if you wanted to. I go way more into the paying for college one on that. But this will be up probably within a day or two.
Okay, and the Naviance account, some of the new students might not know their passcode into the Naviance account yet. So Mrs. Perez is going to push in to like a class they all have, like religion?
Yeah, so all of my all classes have their own counseling Google Classroom with me. So they all know how to get in touch with me. If they don't know what their Naviance login is, they can just reach out to me and I will take care of that and get them on there and everything will be set.
Now, parents can see their Naviance account, but again, we're trying to build students who take care of their own biz. So there's sometimes things you can't do on there, but you can encourage, bribe, or cajole your kids to do it. Those are all totally allowed. Okay, so we're going to make sure you get that Naviance information and the kids get the Naviance information too.
Yeah, I have a teenager as well. He's a sophomore, and when he doesn't want to do something, I go, oh, okay. And then he goes, oh my gosh, fine, because I have complete power over his phone. I'll just go over to screen time and click, 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 and all of his luxury apps are gone. And okay, you don't want to do that for me, then you can't have your apps.
Oh, the life. All right. Anything else, parents? Oh my gosh, it's so much fun. We're so happy to be on this journey with you. And students, we adore you. We can't wait till we come back to school. I'm telling you, at school, I'm going to get a magic 8-ball. For all the times people ask me, when are we coming back? I'm going to take the magic 8-ball, I'm going to shake it around, and I'm going to say, ask me again later, because I don't know. But I know we definitely want you back. Parents, please, if you are having any trouble with connectivity, let's talk about it. Or if your child is having trouble focusing, we are allowing some students with special administrative permission to come on campus with the mask, with distant learning, with online. It's not personal at all. It's not like a one-to-one or anything like that. You're still distant learning. But we do have some teachers walking around making sure your kids are staying focused. And we're there to help them if we see that they're having a hard time. We had a question, I saw it pop up and now I've lost it, about the AP. Okay, our AP course is a year long. Yes, they are. And they are college rigor. They are no joke. So if you're going, oh, this class is going a little fast. If you didn't catch my daughter's angst right now about her rigor in her graduate classes, mind you, they're graduate classes, I get it, the rigor is going to be involved. But the AP classes do go at a faster pace. They do require a lot of studying, and we do require the kids to take the test only because of this. If they go to all that work studying and they put in all that time in their research and answering questions and everything like that, why would we not have them go for the silver ring? Why would we not have them go for that? Why would they not grab for that? So we want them to have that exposure to the test anyway. It's good to get them off their test anxiety. I know it will be anxiety building up, and then they'll make it through it, and we'll say, see, you did it. You did it, and you lived past the next day.
Yeah,
so,
and then if we do have to do SAT and ACT still, that's just like early practice for that, and they start to get used to, you know, these big tests.
That's why we offer them. We want to keep our kids in the know. We want to give them every opportunity we possibly can.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you everyone for joining. Please have a wonderful rest of your evening. I really appreciate your time. Please reach out to me if you have any questions, or you want to just have a meeting, just us, that's fine. And take care.
Okay, for one more question. Wait, Ms. Perez, one more question. To graduate, do students have to complete 3 AP classes? No. That's only if they want to take advantage of the Torero promise, okay, with USD. That's what they'd have to do. They'd have to keep those requirements for the Torero promise. But typically, no, they do not have to take any AP classes if they don't want.
As long as they take 3 academic classes at the honors or AP level. So they could also take, you know, English 1 honors, English 2 honors, English 3 honors, and then boom, that fulfills that requirement.
Right. And we'll give you more and more information for the Torero Promise as we get closer. But for a graduation requirement, no, they just have to meet those requirements that we showed you on the first slide. Those are the requirements. And all of our seminar classes, I meant to tell you this, all of our seminar classes are A through G approved. Our teachers worked so hard on that. So they are getting that A through G rigor credit for it. We're super, super happy. And I was noticing on that NCAA that it was talking about comparative religion and something else classes that can count for that one. We did get our senior religion classes A through G approved. And that, my friends, we can't get the lower ones approved because they don't typically approve religion classes. But because this is world religion and social justice, they were able to do it. And so we were able to offer that. Please know that we're keeping up with just everything for your kids. Okay? All right.
Okay. Oh, I see a thumbs up. Thank you so much. I see waves.
Oh yeah, we can do that. Clappy hands, clappy hands.
Bye, you're free to go. Thank you so much.